What is up, everybody? It's a cold Sunday morning here in South Carolina, about mid-January, and I'm still on my quest to successfully learn how to graft Japanese maples. So I was reading, and several articles say where the rootstock should be brought into a greenhouse or indoors about a month prior to the actual grafting of the scions. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go grab some of my rootstocks that I've been growing for about a year now, and we're going to go ahead and throw them in the greenhouse. But I'm also going to graft today too, just because I've done summer grafting, was unsuccessful, but learned. And I'm going to try to graft, dormant rootstock and scion today too, just to see if it works. I like experimenting, and who knows, you might stumble upon something that works that way, or they may all die, I don't know. But that's what this video is going to be about. So hey, check it out and we'll see if we have any success or not. Let's go grab some Jap mapes. This is where I've got my personal collection, if you will. I've got a pretty bad addiction to Japanese maples. They're just beautiful trees. They're so interesting, and there's so many varieties until it's not even funny. I think there's actually over 3,000 varieties. So here's some of the cultivars that I've collected over like the past 2 years. There's too many to name, probably like 40 different ones right there, but here are all of my rootstocks. And I grew some of these from seed, and then others are left over from an order of little whips that I got from Oregon. So we're gonna load them up and take them to the greenhouse. Here we have our rootstock all loaded up and ready to go to the greenhouse. So these are just our regular old green leaf Acer palmatums. And what I was going to show you real quick, since we're out here in the sun, I don't know how well you can see that, but those buds are already starting to form here mid-January. So the whole concept behind what we're doing is to get these rootstocks to start waking up, get that sap to start flowing, and then I guess, when we take our scions off of the dormant or still dormant Jap maples, that's our cultivars that we want to propagate. So we call that a scion. So it's basically just a little snippet of a branch off of a tree that we want to make more of. So we'll take that still dormant, and this is again in about a month. So these guys have already woke up a little bit. The scion, the guys back there, the ones that we really want to make more of, are still asleep. We'll cut a scion off of one of those, bring it up to the greenhouse, and these guys are already in the process of getting going. When we add that scion, we stick that scion onto one of these rootstocks, then supposedly we're supposed to have better success. But that's what we're going to experiment with. But today I'm also going to graft just as is with both dormant, just to see if it works or not. There's a lot of really great videos on YouTube right now, and that's where I've mostly learned, and that and reading books and calling and bugging people who do this for a living to get some tips and tricks. So I'm just going to experiment, and we may not be successful, but maybe we will. So we'll learn together. So let's get to moving, because it's cold. survived the cold ride up here. So we've got our rootstock loaded up right here. So let's get them off and get in this greenhouse where it's nice and warm. So I've got our little candle melting thing here, if it's even on. And if this wax will even melt, I don't know. But it's this stuff right here. Got it off Amazon. Gashel grafting wax. So anyway, I don't know if it's gonna melt or not, but it is for grafting. I know that because, well, it says grafting right there. So while that melts, we're gonna walk back here and see what cultivar we want to try to graft today. As I said earlier, we're doing this kind of backwards. You know, the cultivars are in the greenhouse and my rootstock was what we just brought up from the house. Should have been done the opposite and should have been done probably prior to this date. But we're January, mid-January, so everything I read said bring your rootstock up a month prior. So that should be about right for mid-February. These guys should be woke up enough. Then we're gonna go back to the house where the cultivars are still dormant, cut our scions and bring them up to the greenhouse there. And the fans just cut on because it's this greenhouse does not have heat, but it's getting hot in here now just because of the sunlight hitting it. So hopefully the fan's not too loud. Anyway, I think we're gonna do one of these red bark maples just so it can kind of show the contrast maybe a little bit better versus the rootstock. And you might be asking yourself, you know, in the first place, why are we even grafting? Why do we have to graft these things? Well, reason being, you can take cuttings off of any of these cultivars and you can put it in root and hormone and you're probably going to get some roots, but they're just not going to have a tap root, and it's just gonna, if it lives at all, it's probably just gonna never really amount to anything, just be kind of an inferior tree. So what we do is we plant seedlings of just regular Acer palmatum. That's what we brought up. That's called our rootstock. And you know, they're grown from seeds, so the natural way has formed its root. So you got a tap root, you got a healthy root structure, and it will, you know, become a nice big beautiful tree one day. So when we find cultivars that we like, then we can come in, and a scion is basically just cutting a section off of the desired cultivar, and that's what we're going to graft onto our rootstock. So let's go ahead and go grab our clippers and let's get a section of Sangukaku is the, probably in my opinion, the most well-known red coral bark maple. Let's see if that's it. Yeah, this is Sangukaku here. But you see how spindly this is? That's not big enough for grafting, for me anyway. Somebody more experienced might could. So we're probably gonna take a scion off of winter red. Beautiful red bark. Shows up awesome in the wintertime, especially if you live in an area that gets snow, which we don't. But anyway, beautiful. Give you something during the wintertime to look at. So let's go grab our cutters and we will cut our scion. Another thing too, we want to keep everything super sanitized as much as possible. So we've got some alcohol here. I'm just going to put a little bit on this paper towel here, and then we will just, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. I forgot my tripod for the camera, so y'all just have to kind of bear with me today. Okay, so we got our cutters, and now we're going to go get our scion. You know, for me, grafting's interesting. Well, one, it's just a really cool, thing you can do, sticking one tree to another. I think it's just amazing, the process of how it works. But two, it's wintertime. There's not a whole lot of stuff to do that involves gardening. Our winters aren't very long here in South Carolina, but they're long enough. So I'm always trying to find something to do that involves trees, plants, gardening, blah, blah, blah. So this one is also interesting just for the scientific reasoning that you can cut a section of one tree and glue it to another. And then, if you do it right, which hopefully we will today, or at least we're learning how to, then you make a whole new tree from that process. So let's come in here and see what we want to take. They're kind of a little spindly too towards the top. So let's see, that guy's got just a bunch of limbs going every which way. But however, this one is really kind of a center growing tree. So I'm center growing limb. I'm just gonna remove it, so I don't really like where it's at in the first place. And then we will go up here and get everything cleaned up, and we will attempt our graft. All right, before we get started, I was gonna show you guys something. Really what we're doing here is matching up cambium layers. And so if you don't know what a cambium layer is, I've cut this mosquito plant here just because it shows pretty easily. But that white ring under the bark, that's the cambium layer. That's the layer that carries up all the nutrients and brings them back down, but it's also responsible for root growth. And when we graft, although we're not growing roots, you essentially are forming a connection between one cambium layer and another. So it's very important that they get matched up. Now, we don't have to match the entire diameter. We don't have to match the whole circle. Matter of fact, most of the scions are smaller than the rootstock, but we want to make sure that one side, at least, we've got to have at least one side that matches up. If we don't, then there's no chance of it ever being successful. So just something real quick, kind of a little visual of what we're attempting to do. So got my knife here. I'm gonna get a little bit more alcohol. We kill any pathogens that are probably on it. I don't want to say might, because there's bacteria all in the air everywhere, and we just want to try to be as sanitary as possible. So I'm just going to clean my scion as well. And then the area that I'm going to graft to, we're going to take and clean. And we're also going to use this stuff right here, Daconil. It's just an all-purpose fungicide, because that is what killed most of my grafts, I'm pretty sure. And I'll explain why I think that happened a little bit later in the process when I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I've just kind of looked here, tried to match these up a little bit, and the diameter is not perfect again, but we're not worried about perfect. We just want to make sure that one side is matched up like I showed you a while ago. So what we want to do first, we're going to make our pocket cut. I'm going to do this. We're going to bend it slightly, and I'm going to come in about, I don't know, an inch above this node here. We're going to come in at a pretty sharp angle. We're going to try to make about a 3/4 inch long cut, just like that. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. So we've got that. That's our pocket cut. A lot of times people cut that notch off up there, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave it kind of like that. Now next, we want to cut our scion. And just to increase our chances for success, we're gonna sanitize the cyan. Plus, I did put that on my hands a while ago too. You didn't see it in the camera, but so nobody comments and say, hey, well, your hands are dirty. So now we want to take this guy and we're going to come in on the, same angle, because we really want them to match up flush as possible. Take that. And that's not a good example. You see how crooked that is? But I was really scared of cutting myself because I said that a while ago. So I'm going to turn it around, I think, and go in from this direction. That's better. That's, yes, still not perfect. So I'm going to shave it up a little bit. Again, you can tell I'm no professional at this, but we're learning, and that's the most important part. Now we want to cut same angle on the other side a little bit further down, and that'll give the cyan a chance to match up with the flap that we cut. I should have sharpened my knife a little bit better too, I think. But that's not too bad, I don't reckon. So you see that wedge? That's the side that's going to go up against the tree, and that's the side that's going to go up against the flap. Now ideally, and what I've learned from videos is, they're usually using the last 4 or 5 node gaps, maybe just the last 7 inches of the stem, but it's so small I can't graft that. So we're going to experiment, and I'm going to just cut this thing off up here, and then I'm also going to, well, just leave that on. Well, that one's already broke, never mind. I'm going to cut that off. So let's take now, and I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of fungicide here. Spray it on there. And then I'm going to take and insert cyan. And it feels like it's matched up pretty good. Let me grab the camera here and show you. If I can keep from wobbling, that's what we're looking to do right there. And hopefully we've got good cambium contact on all the surface areas there that you can see. Sorry about my camera work, but come on, zoom in. Focus. Cooperate with me here. There we go. So feels pretty good to me. So we want to just reassure it's pushed down in there tight, snugged up, and we're definitely not lined up on the right side. You can kind of see we're on the right side for sure. We aren't lined up. You can see a gap in between the scion and the outside of the rootstock, but that's okay as long as we are matched up on this side or one side. I don't care which side you choose, but I just know we got to be matched up on at least one side. So there we go. Got her tucked down in there nice and tight. Now we're going to put our, this is a Parafilm, and it's a special tape for grafting. I got this off of Amazon too. I split it, it's an inch roll, but I was watching, there's a really cool channel, Addie's, A-D-D-I-E, I believe is how it's spelled. And that guy really seems to know what he's doing, and I stole this trick from him. about using only half of it, because when you use that whole inch, it's just too much. So this stuff, when it stretches, sticks to itself. So I'm gonna start just below where the graft, where the cut ends, and I'm gonna start wrapping. I'm gonna pull it tight as I can without breaking the tape. And this is the part where I always screw up, because I'm so focused on the tape, I'll wind up bumping the scion and, you know, misaligning the cambium. So before I wrap it, I'm just going to look in there one more time. We're still lined up, so that's good. Pull it tight. Try to get about a half a wrap advancement every time. Making sure we're pulling it nice and snug. I think that's critical. Well, I don't think it is critical. You got to hold those two layers up against each other tight in order for them to fuse. So I'm just going to come up probably to about right there, and I'm going to hold my scion and everything, the joint secure so I don't move it, and we're going to tear that off, and there we go. We have grafted. I hope that wasn't unfocused the whole time for you, but I'm gonna have to check that out later. So that's it right there. Now, what I think happened in the past, I didn't put any wax or any type of sealant down in between the rootstock and the scion. And you see that big pocket? It made like a swimming pool or a hot tub, and the bacteria and the fungus got down in that water, and they were just having a party and, you know, just peeing in the pool, and it got all nasty, turned black, and the scion, of course, died. So that's why I got that wax heating up. What we're going to do is seal that thing right there. It's almost a funnel. Well, it is a funnel. So we're gonna make it not a funnel. So let's go see if our wax melted. Hopefully it did. I didn't bring any kind of little brush or anything, so we're just gonna have to find something. Hey, check it out. It did melt. Sweet. All right, well, let's see, what can we use as a brush? All right, I might be back in a minute. Let me find something. All right, so here is our custom wax applicator. And so if you guys like these, you know, maybe I should start making these and selling them, you know. $9.99, but wait, if you order today, you'll get 2 for the price of 1, just plus shipping and handling. Okay. All right, back to actual while you're watching the video. And I'm gonna see how hot this stuff is. I'm gonna touch my finger with it, which I don't recommend because it might be really hot. Nope, didn't burn. All right, don't try that at home because your wax melter or thing might be hotter than mine. So let's come in here and let's seal up the bacteria swimming pool. Just kind of brush it on there. And it got to be pretty as long as nobody can get into the pool. So here, got a little gap. Seal it up nice and tight, because I'm almost positive that's why a lot of my grafts failed. All right, I think that's sealed up pretty good. I like that. It's pretty cool. All right. Now what we're gonna do is these little baggies right here. I ordered them off of Amazon like I do everything. And they are called jewelry bags. They gave me 2 different sizes. Some are a good bit longer. That's a shorter one right there. Here they are, I'll just show you. Made in good old China. Yeah, I'm also going to squirt some daconil up in here. I stole this from Mr. Addy too, so Mr. Addy, if you're watching this, thanks for your videos because I learned a bunch from you. And we'll just give it a shot. Get that in there. It also helps keep, you know, moisture in a little bit, I guess. But the main thing is we just don't want that fungus getting in there and growing. Squeeze all that out. And then we're going to slip it right down. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try something on this one. I'm going to cut one side of this bag, but before I do that, I'm going to sanitize it. So I hate to get this far in the process and then introduce pathogens into my bag. All right, so we sanitize that. I'm going to cut one side of this so it'll slip up over the trunk of the tree a little bit better. Like so. Then I'm going to just gently get some air into this thing so I don't knock my scion around when we're bagging it. And I'm just going to go down. That one little stem there is giving me some grief. I'll take him off. Now, slide it right down like that. And that'll help too with the swimming pool problem. But there we go. There you have it. Now, this is not ideal. Again, I know we really should have a, you know, better scion. It should have a terminal bud and probably not that little stem there. But I really want to just make a video today, and we can learn together. So, you know, this may be a crazy bad example of how to graft, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to label this one now, label the time of year. I got to label the scion because I'll forget. And we're going to see what happens. So, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. And what I'm going to do here in about another 2 weeks, we're going to do it again. But we're going to do it how I think we should, by using the rootstock we brought up here today. Let it wake up for about 2 weeks, and then we're going to bring a scion in from outside. So good reason now, if you want to, hit that little subscribe button down there and the little bell, and it's almost like a personal assistant. It will let you know when I put the next video out. And then we're going to do another one even after that. We're just going to keep doing it until we get it right. And eventually we're going to get it, because I'm not going to let it kick my butt. Hey, thanks for watching, you guys. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Even if they're negative, I kind of like getting hate mail. So put down whatever you want, and have a great day and happy gardening. See ya.